which brings us on to item F, and it's a motion by Councillor Ian Dixon, £1,000 for every household, and Councillor Paul.
Thanks very much, Prof. I'm happy to move this on Councillor Dixon's behalf. Labour in Western Bartonshire campaigned on a manifesto pledge to put £1,000 in the pocket of every Western Bartonshire resident, with Scottish Labour leader Anis Sarwar telling the BBC on April 7th that Labour-led councils would be focused on such bold policies to protect household budgets. Council notes that having an overall majority gives Labour the mandate and ability to implement the election pledges as they see fit. Therefore, Council calls on officers to work with the administration to bring forward proposals for the Council to play our part in putting the promised £1,000 into every Western Bartonshire citizen's pocket. Promise, this was a campaign pledge made nationally that was then campaigned on locally, and I know, in fairness, that the administration have already taken steps in order to reduce the burden on people with the work they're doing through the Cost of Living Working Group, and we hope to see that come to fruition. The SNP support this particular manifesto pledge, and we would like to support the administration in implementing it. There's absolutely nothing nefarious here. We are simply keen to support the administration in supporting our citizens in Western Bartonshire. I have to say I've been pleased to hear from a number of members of the administration talking about not just those who are at the lowest level struggling and are able to access some of the supports due to their income levels or due to certain benefits that they access, but also the need to support those that are on the cusp, those that don't quite qualify for some of the supports that are there already, and what can we do for them. It's been good to hear those sort of noises coming from the administration. So simply calling for a report to come back to council or relevant committees on how we can as a council put that £1,000 into every household's pocket, because people are struggling. Thank you, Provost.
Thank you, Councillor Paul. Thank you very much. And summing up for the motion, Councillor Paul.
Thanks very much, Provost. And I've got to say, this has gone a completely different way from that which I thought it would. I think perhaps the mover of the amendment might have better served the council had she listened not only to the amendment but to how I spoke to it, and we might have had a better, more worthwhile debate without needless mudslinging back and forth. Labour campaigned at the council elections on a huge number of national issues. I could have put up a political motion having a go at the Labour Party for that. I didn't. There is nothing adversely party political in the motion or in my speech to it. I was being positive about the commitments made by Labour in Western Bartonshire and our wish to support this administration on a cross-party basis to support our constituents. I even praised comments made by members of the administration previously around the importance of supporting those who can't access existing supports, something that the £1,000 pledge, I think, is designed to rebalance, as it's about supporting everybody. It's a good thing, and I said so. I'm extremely disappointed that the Deputy Leader of the Council has decided to create division on this and make what is a party political issue that we can agree on into a party political attack, which only sows division and does not serve our constituents well. We need to work together on these things. But as Councillor McGinty has made it clear that she'd rather badmouth the SNP than work with us for the greater good, I must point out a few things to Council. As was accepted by Labour when they created the various funds mentioned in the amendment, the vast majority of the money here is not new. It's money that was in the SNP budget to deliver support, and it's disingenuous to now claim it as a party political success for the Labour Party. We were quite happy to support the changes that the Labour Party made here. I've heard the budget gap being spun by Labour since before the election. Now let's be clear about it. Labour's budgets, if you go through them for the past 5 years and do the sums, would in fact have caused a greater budget gap this year. than the SNP budgets. And I can see some confusion among members of the Labour Party. Go back and do the figures and go through it with the Section 95 officer. You will see that that is the case. I would also point out that Labour also chose to empty reserves to balance their budgets. It was that, or it was service cuts at a time of extreme need for our constituents. And we agreed cross-party that you don't keep your rainy day fund in place when it's monsoon season. We used the money to protect those services, and we both did it, and we both agreed on that, and that's a good thing. Provost, back to the subject of the motion and our wish to work together. Despite the way Labour have presented themselves on this issue this evening, we in the SNP still wish to work together where we can with the administration to support our constituents. Now that is reflected not only in this motion, which, let's remind ourselves, is asking Council to support the Labour administration to implement their manifesto, but is also reflected in the lack of political rhetoric during the rest of the meeting and the number of important reports and motions that have been agreed unanimously tonight. In the 15 plus years I've been a councillor, Labour's Western Berkshire Council Group have proven themselves completely inflexible and unable to change their position in the chamber when it's apparent they've made a mistake. So Labour will inevitably vote against the SNP motion to support the Labour manifesto tonight. This is not only disappointing, but completely bizarre. What's worse is Councillor McBride's contribution, which indicated that the football tonight is more important to him than debating and discussing how we can support people struggling to feed their families and heat their homes. I think that was a misjudged comment. Now let's make this the last time this happens. Let's work together, and if you think a motion is unduly political or written in a bad way, come to us before the meeting, as we did come to you tonight on another item and got agreement on a way forward. Let's work together where we agree and be willing to listen to ideas from across the chamber. Thank you, Provost.
Thank you very much for your contribution.